Damn, I really royally fucked that up. I apologize for that, but what is up, beautiful people? Whew. I am so happy. I'm thrilled. Football is great. I'm so glad it's back. It's helping me keep my sanity. Oh. Again, just because I royally fucked that up. Let's all take a moment to remember the lives lost on 9/11 22 years ago. Thank you to all of the firefighters, the police officers, all of the innocent people that went through so much that day. World would be so different without you. Thank you. Yes. Anyways. Back to football. I'm dreaming. I'm dreaming. All right. To anyone, all right. How is everyone doing today? Let me start with that. How is everyone doing today? Man, I'm royally screwing myself up. But it's all right. If you ask me, I am doing fantastic because my mood my mental state definitely is correlated with how the Detroit Lions are performing in football. And judging by my current mental state as it is right now, as I have laid it out for you, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling very good because the Detroit Lions on Thursday night shocked the country and beat the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead. I'm dreaming. That's the only possible explanation. I have to be dreaming. This isn't real. The Lions don't win games like that. They just don't. That's not a thing that ever happens. But apparently it did. Now, I can do what some fans do, and I will blow this out of proportion. I will say the Detroit Lions are going to win the Super Bowl. The Detroit Lions are a top 5 team in football. But I'm going to keep it real, all right? I'm trying to keep it real on this podcast, okay? Maybe we're a top 10 team. I'm still not fully convinced we're a top 10 team. That might be shocking, okay? I haven't done my full analysis yet. We still have some football to see. Bills and Jets tonight in MetLife Stadium. But oh my gosh. The Detroit Lions, it's not real. It's not real. The Detroit Lions did not beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I refuse to believe it. That didn't happen. All right, but either way, so final score 21-20. It was great. Woohoo. Obviously, the Chiefs were down Travis Kelce, who plays a very vital role in that offense, or at least so we have found out. He plays a very vital role in that offense because the Chiefs receivers Thursday night, were anything but impressive. Patrick Mahomes had very little to work with, but I'm going to keep it real. So, I have some key takeaways from the Detroit Lions that I want to get off my chest and share my opinions with you. Oh, but first, we have some breaking news right now. Chris Jones, defensive tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs, who did not play Thursday night along with Travis Kelce, who did not play Thursday night, ended his holdout. I found that out like 5 minutes ago. So Chris Jones did sign a 1-year deal with the Kansas City Chiefs. I am not 100% certain as to what the contract entails, other than the fact that it is a 1-year deal. Besides the point, again, I'm not going to overreact. Being down Chris Jones and Travis Kelce obviously impacted the Chiefs in a negative way. The Lions only won by 1 point. One of those was a very lucky defensive touchdown. If it were not for Kadarius Toney. But going back to the Lions, because again, that is a big win. I've heard people say before, and it's totally true, that this is a game that the Lions usually lose. Despite it being close, all of that, this is a game that the Detroit Lions lose. I was not pretty much the entire game. I was not expecting the Detroit Lions to win at all. It wasn't until the very final drive where we stopped Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs following David Montgomery's rushing touchdown. That's when it finally started to sink in that, oh my God, we might have a chance. And then they went for it on 4th down, trying to run the clock out. They didn't get it. Patrick Mahomes only needing a field goal, only needed to go with Harrison Butker, maybe 30 yards. But the defense hold up. And that brings me to my first point. The Detroit Lions defense is a hell of a lot better than they were last season. I don't care that Travis Kelce wasn't there. Last season, Patrick Mahomes puts up 4 touchdowns, at least 3 touchdowns without Travis Kelce. He only put up 2. So, I mean, maybe I'm not that far off, but the Detroit Lions defense is completely different. This team defensively looks completely different than it did last season, and it is such a relief. I'm not saying that Detroit Lions defense is going to be good in the slightest. They're not a top 10 defense. They might not even break the top half of the league in defense. But I'll tell you one thing. They aren't going to be last. They're not going to have the most points against per game like they did last season. It's not going to happen. Trust me. Now, offensively, I think the Detroit Lions have plenty of work to do. That was not as good as an offense as we saw last season. Marvin Jones was very disappointing, fumbling the ball, not really getting too many targets after that. Was pretty disappointing. But, Jared Goff looked fine. The offensive line looked fine. Amon-Ra St. Brown looked fine. I'm really excited about the Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery combo. I think that will be one of the best running back duos in the NFL. Jahmyr Gibbs is an explosive and flashy guy. I've seen plays, spin move after spin move from this guy. It was incredible. I think this guy is going to be very good. He just needs to get the touches, which I think the Lions are really focusing on making him kind of a receiving back where David Montgomery is going to get the majority of the carries. I don't care how you use him as long as you win football games. But also want to apologize to Brad Holmes, general manager of the Detroit Lions. If you've followed my channel for a little bit, you know that I was not too keen on the Detroit Lions draft picks. Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, Jack Campbell, the list goes on. But in hindsight, so far in the 2023 NFL season, I believe all of these players were very promising in their NFL debuts. Brian Branch, safety / cornerback, nickelback out of Alabama, scoring a touchdown, a pick 6 gifted to him by Kadarius Toney, really putting the Lions back in the game and really winning the games. Really winning the game for the Detroit Lions. Imagine getting a touchdown in your very first NFL game. That's insane. But nonetheless, obviously, I already talked about Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs was phenomenal, I think. Week 1, Sam Laporta had plenty of receptions. He did way better than Brock Wright. So I think he easily is the starting tight end moving forward. And Jack Campbell had one really cool diving deflection for an easy pass for the Kansas City Chiefs that he defended. I'm excited. I'm excited about this defense. Offensively, some things to clean up because they only scored 14 points offensively. 7 of those points came from the defense. So still some work to do. Kansas City Chiefs defense is good, but they're not the greatest in the world. Nonetheless, moving on to the Chiefs. I've said what I've said already, but Chiefs need some help other than Travis Kelce, and that is obvious because Kadarius Toney, Marquez Valdes-Scantling is probably the best guy they got out there, and even he wasn't that impressive. Sky Moore was not impressive. They need Travis Kelce, or at least one more decent receiver. And maybe it's because the Lions defense was just that good, but I have a really hard time believing that in the slightest. Now, I'm gonna show some clips, all right? Because I get so excited about this team. We'll do that one last, but let's go to right here. What? This is the second drive. This is the second drive of the game. Damn it. Dan Campbell. Motherfucking Dan Campbell. Let's run that back. Let's run that back real quick, because what is this? Like, I keep forgetting, even as a Lions fan, I keep forgetting about all the fake punts that this man does. Holy shit. Like, if that fails, Dan Campbell is a fucking dumbass. But they scored the first touchdown of the NFL season off of that. Like, if you told me a few years ago the Detroit Lions would win the NFL opener against the Kansas City Chiefs, I would have thought you were crazy. But here we are. Now let's move on to my last. I've talked about this play already, so nothing too crazy here, but I do want to show it off. A gift. That ball was in between both of his hands. In between both of his hands. He needs to live it up. He needs to live that up. And I'm just so excited for this team. And Dan Campbell is a phenomenal head coach. Look at.
And remember this feeling that wasn't perfect. We stick together. We are built for this, boys. We are built for this.
We are built for this. That's the new motto of this NFL season. All right.
Did we expect to win that game? We did, and that's exactly what we did. Because we built that fucking way. And everything we talked about was how it went down. We had to be patient, man. Offense, we go all the way down and score. Defense, we need a takeaway. We come out at halftime, we get a huge takeaway.
BB.
We can overcome anything as long as you guys just can hang with it. We got a ton to clean up when we get back. But until then, enjoy this. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm proud of you guys. Break it down.
I love that man. I love this man so much. I love that man so much. Okay. I'm sure you love the name? Randy Balls? Oh my God. Oh, you're talking about BB. Yeah, quality name right there. BB. Randy Balls is what I've named this picture. It's other words, Dan Campbell. Holly, it's just me and you in here. Nobody else is watching this. It's kind of sad. It's all right. I'll be all right. You are my biggest fan. That's why I love you. Maybe I'll remind the folks, but other than that, my day one. But anyways. All right, Holly. So I'm going to continue to talk about the NFL games because I'm sure, I know you already know all of these from watching them yourselves. At least some of them. But Yeah, we'll go through these. We'll go through these NFL games, game by game. Give you my opinions about the teams, what has changed, what hasn't changed, and really, I don't know. There's some crazy shit that went down. There's some crazy shit that went down. But anyways, so the Cleveland Browns defeated the Cincinnati Bengals 24-3. I fucking called it. I said from the beginning that the Cleveland Browns were going to win this game, and they did. Because I'm just good like that. Even though, let's not talk. You know what? I won't talk about any other games. I'm just good. See, this is evidence right here. I'm that good. But either way, people are going to be freaking out because Joe Burrow and the Bengals offense was terrible. They were awful. Joe Burrow was not even close to top 10 quarterback in that game. But mind you, there is nothing to worry about. The Cincinnati Bengals will figure it out eventually, as they always do. They always start out slow like this, but they'll come back later in the season, win the division. Maybe not this year, because the Ravens are going to be pretty good. But they're going to be just fine. The Cleveland Browns, however, defensively, the Browns were phenomenal. Underrated defense, in my opinion. However, Deshaun Watson, although he did win the game, he had a rushing touchdown. He had solid fantasy numbers. He is not quite back to his perfect Deshaun Watson form. He is not playing like he did in 2020 still. So, a little disappointing for Deshaun Watson fantasy owners, but nonetheless, he did what he needed to do to get the win in Cleveland. Jamar Chase just talked too much shit. Nothing to worry about there for the Cincinnati Bengals. They will be fine. Moving on to the Houston Texans lost to the Baltimore Ravens 25-9. Lamar Jackson had a really slow start to this game. Kind of disappointing. 0 touchdowns and 1 interception. CJ Stroud, on the other hand, making his first NFL start, did lose a fumble, but other than that, solid 242 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. Not the worst from a rookie quarterback going up against a very tough Baltimore Ravens defense. Nonetheless, Baltimore had a very slow start to this game. And, maybe the Texans defense has improved a little bit, but this might be a little concerning for Baltimore Ravens fans. You have high expectations going into this season, and you did win 25-9, but starting out, they were not looking so hot against one of the worst teams, I think, in the NFL. All right, this is embarrassing, but I need to pause real quick because I got some shit in my eye. Okay. Oof. I don't I don't know what just happened, but something got in my contact and I am now blind in my left eye, and it might look a little fucking red and gross. I'm sorry. But anyways, moving on to next game. And this game is a little bit of a shocker. I gotta say, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I was wrong. All right, this is one of those picks that I had that was not right. The the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the Minnesota Vikings 20-17 on the road in Minneapolis. Minnesota Vikings, I believe they had 3 or 4 losses in the regular season last season. Had a first round playoff exit against the Giants. And, at the end of last season, many NFL fans were saying that the Vikings were a fraudulent team. They weren't that good because their defense was god-awful last season. And this game kind of proves that. I think that the Vikings offense is going to be phenomenal again. Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins, and Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, all great players, good offensive line. Defensively, however, and really running the ball, they don't really have. Alexander Madison was very underwhelming. They didn't really run the ball at all either. And the defense couldn't hold up. They let Baker Mayfield get 2 touchdowns, only 173 passing yards, but at the same time, failed to come through in the red zone and when it mattered most. So, put them against some better offenses. They're gonna be screwed. But kudos to the Buccaneers. You guys already have like half the wins I predicted you to have. So good job there. Moving on to the Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons. Holly, this is a game you should know all about because you watched it. But needless to say, Atlanta Falcons, all right. Falcons fans, okay. Okay, I see you. It's 14-point win. First time having a winning record in, I think it was like 5 years, maybe longer. But congratulations again for winning in week 1. Beating the Carolina Panthers. Bryce Young in his first NFL start, the first overall pick in the 2023 NFL draft. And, this isn't a game to freak out about for Panthers fans. Bryce Young didn't overperform, but I don't think he was that far off from what we all expected him to be. 2 picks on the day, 1 touchdown. Nothing to be worried about, okay? I think Bryce Young will learn. He will develop. This is his first NFL game. I did not expect the Carolina Panthers to win this game. Now, that being said, Desmond Ridder, huge topic for me and Falcons fans. Desmond Ridder did look better than I anticipated towards the end of the game. However, he only threw 18 pass attempts, completed 15 of them. But the Falcons are not a very pass-heavy team. I mean, that's an understatement. But Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson behind that offensive line is going to be one of the best running back duos in the NFL next season. Needless to say, Desmond Ridder played good enough for them to win the game. The Carolina Panthers are not a very good team. He still has to prove himself to me. I need to see him throw the ball more because once the Falcons come across a team with the phenomenal defensive line or defense in general, they are going to be in trouble. Moving on to the Arizona Cardinals and the Washington Commanders. This game was god-awful. Huge defensive battle. Sam Howell was not living up to the expectations of myself or Ron Rivera. Commanders barely scrape out a win against the Arizona Cardinals. But the Arizona Cardinals look like they have something to prove out there, okay? They do not look like a team that wants to be ranked at the bottom of the league. And they certainly, I don't think they played like it. Joshua Dobbs was all right at quarterback. Nothing too fancy or flashy from him. Very mediocre day on offense. Nothing special at all. No touchdowns. Only 3 field goals and a defensive touchdown for the Arizona Cardinals. But the Commanders, they want to hang out in the NFC East. They got to be better offensively moving forward. We'll see how Sam Howell develops. Again, that's only his second NFL start, so we'll see what happens. Moving on to the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Indianapolis Colts. I stocked up on Jaguars players in fantasy football, and it is not letting me down thus far. I think this is going to be a top 5 offense in the NFL. Trevor Lawrence looked great. Calvin Ridley looked great from his long break playing in the NFL. Moving on to the Colts, Anthony Richardson played the best out of all the starting rookie quarterbacks. He does have the best offensive line, I believe. Maybe the Colts offensive line is finally reverting back to the way they were a few years ago. Defensively, the Colts, they played the Jaguars offense, so not too much to see there. Again, Anthony Richardson's success may be tied to the Colts playing the Jaguars defense, but I'm going to give him credit where credit is due. I think Anthony Richardson played very well, given that it was his first career NFL start. Moving on to the San Francisco 49ers at the Pittsburgh Steelers. The 49ers beat the Steelers 30-7. This was my sneaky upset pick of last week. I said the Steelers. I've always said the Steelers were going to win this game, and they got fucking crushed. It was not close in the slightest all day. Kenny Pickett did not look good. He was throwing a lot of picks, or at least one. But you know who did look good? Big Cock Brock looked good. He is proving the doubters and the haters wrong. Look, Mr. Irrelevant to, playoff winning quarterback last season. Only played 7 games, I believe, in the regular season. We really weren't sure if he was for real or not. And hey, the Steelers defense, that is a good defense. I know they did not play well, but that is a good defense. And Brock Purdy dismantled them. Not only him, Christian McCaffrey and Brandon Ayuk and the San Francisco 49ers defense. That is the best situation. After week 1, the 49ers have to be the Super Bowl favorites. I think they're easily the Super Bowl favorites. After a game like this on the road in Pittsburgh, not a very pleasant environment to play in. And for the Steelers, offensively, got to be better. At one point, it was 49ers 200 yards to the Steelers -1 yards. Steelers offense was grossly disappointing, and they need to figure it out. And I think they will. I trust Mike Tomlin, so don't worry, Steelers fans. I believe you will come back a little bit. Now, moving on to the Tennessee Titans at the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans Saints won this game only by 16-15, despite really dominating on both sides of the ball. I know Derrick Henry balled out in this game, like I feel like most people would expect. Ryan Tannehill was god-awful. Threw 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Derek Carr had over 300 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Chris Olave played amazing. And really, the Saints' defense was pretty solid, too. I really, looking at the stats, because I didn't watch this game live, but looking at the stats, the Saints should have won this game by way more than 1. I didn't see what happened, but on paper, the Saints significantly outplayed the Tennessee Titans, in my opinion. I think the Tennessee Titans will be one of the worst teams in the league. I stand by that, especially if Ryan Tannehill is playing like the way he did yesterday for the majority of the season. Saints need to figure out how to play as a team, because you just need to put the puzzle pieces together, and then they might be a significant factor, significant force in the NFC. We will see. A lot of C's. Moving on to the Raiders and Broncos. Raiders fans, kudos to you. I did say that the Raiders always beat the Broncos, but I was so sure that Sean Payton was turning things around in Denver and that that streak would come to an end, and I was wrong. Raiders did only win by 1. Russell Wilson played a lot better than what we saw him play on average last season. Raiders I'm starting to think they're one of the most underrated teams in the league. They have a brutal division, brutal conference, but their offense, I think it's one of the better ones in the league. Jacoby Myers in his Raiders debut balled out, had 80 yards, 2 touchdowns. Obviously, they still have Devontae Adams, who averaged 11 yards a reception. Josh Jacobs is still on that team. Didn't perform quite as well yesterday, but still was the best running back in 2022. A lot of potential on this Raiders offense. Broncos, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I do not know how Russell Wilson can still play well. 117 yards, 27 for 34, 2 touchdowns. Maybe it was missing Jerry Jeudy in that game. Maybe once Jerry Jeudy comes back, the Broncos will be a different team. But until then, we can only assume that they're going to stay back. Now, moving on to the Philadelphia Eagles at the New England Patriots. The Philadelphia Eagles were hands down my Super Bowl favorites. number 1 ranked team headed into the season, and they did not play like it. Jalen Hurts was not nearly as good as he was last season in this one game. Now, give credit where credit is due. The Patriots defense, I thought, was going to be extremely good, and they played extremely well against an extremely good offense with plenty of weapons on that team. It might be the new offensive coordinator. It's going to take some learning to do, but Eagles got to be better if they want to get back. That San Francisco 49ers team was scary as hell. This Eagles team was not. Now the Patriots, they were like a toe drag swag away from almost sealing that game. So kudos to the Patriots. Moving on. Yeah, I want to talk about the Patriots. Kendrick Bourne, they didn't trade him for a reason. I know he was a big guy that a lot of people were targeting in the trade market. Patriots found their wide receiver 1. Juju Smith-Schuster did not look that great. Kendrick Bourne looked amazing. Mac Jones even looked pretty good, having over 300 yards passing, I believe. Yep. That's almost double what Jalen Hurts had. Mac Jones also had 3 touchdowns and 1 interception, so really a great day from Mac Jones. This might be the Bill O'Brien effect. Patriots finally have a solid offensive coordinator that's not named Matt Patricia. Matt Patricia was awful. That's what I'm saying. A little bit of a disappointing day from Ramondre Stevenson, a guy that I'm really high on, but nonetheless, Patriots, they have a tough schedule. I find it hard to find wins for them, but they are going to have at least 7 wins. I don't know how, but they will. Moving on to the next game. Now this, I ate my words. I am a dumbass. You can discredit literally everything that comes out of my mouth because of this game solely. I said, please start Geno Smith in all of your fantasy leagues. The Seahawks are going to blow out the Rams. Los Angeles Rams won 30-13. Now, I don't know why I doubted my boy Matthew Stafford. I don't know. That was not a smart decision. 334 yards on the day, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, but 3 rushing touchdowns. I mean, come on. Holy. And Aaron Donald and the Rams defense played significantly well. The Rams receivers played significantly well. And I think this got to be the Sean McVay effect, right? This has got to be the Sean McVay effect. Either way, the Rams significantly outplayed the Seahawks. I wish they did that last season in week 17, I believe. That would have been nice. But no, that was week 18. Yeah, I wish they did that in week 18 last season. That was when it was most needed for me. But yeah, I think I got to say, like, the Rams, I'm wrong. I was wrong. I was wrong about the Rams. They will be, as long as everybody stays healthy, they will be a solid force to be reckoned with, at least in the NFC West, if not the whole NFC. NFC, excuse me. All right. Moving on to our next game. This was the best game on Sunday. If you have not seen this game, please go and watch it. I am not shocked in the slightest. This ended up being the best game. The Miami Dolphins defeated the Los Angeles Chargers in LA 36-34 in an offensive shootout. Both quarterbacks, Justin Herbert and Tua Tagovailoa, balled their asses off. Tua Tagovailoa kept his head, did not get a concussion, and threw for almost 500 yards, 466 yards. Tyreek Hill had 215 yards. He wants to reach 2,000 receiving yards. Well, he's on track. 2 touchdowns. This man carried me in fantasy football, averaging almost 20 yards per reception. That man was insane. Justin Herbert on the day, not the worst at all. Joshua Kelly and Austin Eckler getting it done on the ground. Holy. This was a great game. Not a lot of defense going on in this game, but I trust both of these teams. I honestly think as long as everybody stays healthy, which both of these teams have struggled to do, both of these teams will end up being pretty good in the long run. Now, moving on to the game that I do and I don't want to talk about. I'm talking about now the Green Bay Packers at the Chicago Bears. And holy shit. I am sorry, Bears fans. You find Aaron Rodgers is gone. You finally thought the pain and suffering is over. The tide is going to turn in your favor. Justin Fields has some new weapons in DJ Moore, new offensive line. The Bears got to be better. Revamped defense. They lost 38-20 against Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers, and it was sad. Justin Fields did not live up to his hype, only having 216 yards passing, 1 passing touchdown, 1 INT. Of course, 59 rushing yards on 9 carries. Whew, but this pisses me off to talk about, but the Green Bay Packers have found their next franchise quarterback. Now, maybe the Bears defense is terrible. Maybe they suck. I don't know, but this man sat under Aaron Rodgers for 3 years, finally get his chance to start as the unquestioned starter in Green Bay, and he puts on a show. 15 for 27, 245 yards, and 3 touchdowns for Jordan Love on the day. Also had the highest passer rating in week 1 at 123.2. This man is going to be a problem in the NFC North, and I'm upset because I was hoping for a Green Bay Packers sweep. I'm not so sure that's going to happen anymore. I don't think so. But kudos to Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers for getting it done in such a. They made it look easy. So I apologize, Bears fans, that you had to relive that. But the Bears looked awful. They really do not trust Justin Fields. And I'm going to switch to this alternate screen if this works. Okay, this kind of works. These are my top 5 quarterbacks from week 1. Again, Jordan Love, I said, was incredible. Now, this is based off of week 1 stats alone. Please let that be known. Patrick Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the league. These are solely based off of what happened in week 1. So please do not cut off my neck and slaughter me, because these aren't my current quarterback rankings. These are just merely who I think performed the best in week 1. Thank you. Good night. Jordan Love, number 1. Tua Tagovailoa, number 2. Brock Purdy, 3. Justin Herbert, 4. I feel like most people can agree with that. Now, I reached a little bit putting Stafford at 5 just because I freaking love this man. So call me biased if you want, because it is. But, I mean, there's an argument that can be made based off of all of the yardage he threw for without turning the ball over. I don't know. But these are some big names from week 1. That's all I wanted to show for that. But, yeah, moving on to our last game, the Sunday night game, which is supposed to be the best game. Maybe. I don't know. America's team versus the New York Giants. Holy shit. What? I predicted the Cowboys to win. Oh, Sam, I know you're a fan of that list. I'm not. But Jordan Love was, he was so impressive. I'm not ready to play that man. I do not want the Lions to play that man. But anyways, the Dallas Cowboys beat the New York Giants 40-0. Mom, if you're listening, I'm sorry. Jack, if you're listening, I'm sorry. There was rain. 2 of the Cowboys' touchdowns were special teams, a blocked field goal, which I didn't think I'd see one of those in week 1, but I did. Blocked field goal, return for a touchdown, and really a pick 6, but it was really Saquon's pick, not Daniel Jones. Either way, the Giants' offensive line, we all know the story by now, was awful. About 2 seconds for Daniel Jones to throw the ball. And when he did have time to throw the ball, nobody was open. I needed Darren Waller to go off on my fantasy team, and he didn't. Go Browns. We got a Browns fan in here. Hey, you missed me talk about the Browns, but the Browns were... I predicted it, man. I called it, Sam. I don't know if you were watching, but I said that the Cleveland Browns would win week 1 against the Bengals. Joe Burrow has he's like what, 1-4 against the Browns now. He's a little bit shaky coming off that injury, and the Browns got it done. I think it's a significantly underrated defense. Deshaun Watson did not play like he did in 2020, but he did enough to win the game, which is, in the NFL, all you really need is to win games. But going back to the New York Giants, I know the weather was bad, yada, yada, yada. Cowboys defense is phenomenal. I cannot believe I did not put them in my top 10 defense video. That's got to be one of my worst takes ever. The Giants' offensive line was completely absent from the game. The receivers significantly underperformed. The defense of the Dallas Cowboys exceeded expectations, and the expectations were already extremely high. But yeah, that concludes my analysis for the Sunday games that we saw yesterday, Week 1, NFL Week 1. I am so happy it's back. I love sitting in front of the TV all day watching football, and I get to do it again tonight at, I believe, 8:15. Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets will kick off the final game of Week 1. After that, power rankings will be on their way. Don't know. They're gonna be terrible. They're gonna be terrible. I'm sorry, but let's move on to my prediction for this game. Bills Jets. This is gonna be a close one. I said that last night. I thought the game would be close last night. This one has to be close, right? Aaron Rodgers' first game in the New York Jets uniform. How good is he going to be? I don't know. I think he should be good on paper. The Jets have plenty of offensive weapons around this team. Not sure about the health of Breece Hall and others on the Jets. But nonetheless, if Zach Wilson can beat the Buffalo Bills in New York, I think Aaron Rodgers is more than capable to do so. So I have the New York Jets winning this game 24-17 against the Buffalo Bills. To all of my people in the chat, who is going to win this game? I am interested to hear y'all's opinions. Who do you think had the best Week 1 experience? And I don't know, who's the Super Bowl favorite after Week 1? There's plenty of there's a lot to take in from this Week 1, especially being a Detroit Lions fan. Because Seattle looked bad, so maybe next week we actually have a shot at winning. But I don't think we will. We never beat the Seattle Seahawks. Never happened. You got the Bills in this one. Oh man, I don't know. I'm not completely sold on the Bills this season, and I don't necessarily know why. I just really don't trust them on the defensive side of the ball. Now, they're always going to be a good team. I believe the Buffalo Bills will make the playoffs, obviously. But I don't know. Especially, like, AFC, is it going to be the Chiefs again? I really want to see the Bills win a Super Bowl. I love Josh Allen. I love Stephon Diggs. I love Dalton Kincaid, one of the sleeper picks in the draft. I think he'll end up being pretty good. Oh, I'm excited to watch him tonight. I want to see how Dalton Kincaid does. Oh, are you the Cowboys fan? The Cowboys fan? Oh my God, bro. The Cowboys defense, it's insane. I thought going into the game last night that it would be a close game. Giants might win it. I did pick the Cowboys to win it. But I have to say, and my mom is a Giants fan, so I feel really bad about the Giants losing in the way that they did. But the Cowboys defense looked unstoppable. Dak Prescott still has a lot to prove to me this season. Really didn't get to see much from him. He did what he needed to do to win. And if that's handing the ball off to Tony Pollard, who was incredible last night, and I knew he'd be incredible. I knew he'd be good. I don't know. the Cowboys defense was just that good. They had, 7-8 sacks in that game? Holy. Like, Eagles are shivering in their timbers right now because I tell you what, the Cowboys looked way better than the Eagles in week 1. Now, we'll see about the Eagles. Maybe they'll get better as the week progresses. They did. The Cowboys defense got almost 50 fantasy points. Now, I get it. Like, the Giants were just handing them away. 7 sacks. That is, this might be a historic defense. Micah Parsons is an incredible player. Is Stephon Gilmore also get an interception? Yeesh. But yeah, let's look. Daniel Jones, 104 passing yards, 2 interceptions. Over 100 yards rushing for the team total. Tony Pollard, 2 touchdowns. Jesus Christ. Yeah, there was absolutely no time for anyone on the Giants to throw the ball. It was insane. Whew. But yes, that is my analysis for week 1. Lot to take in. A lot to overreact to. Like, I'm saying all of this stuff, but then we all know that next week something else crazy is going to happen, and then everything I'm saying today is going to be completely different. But with that being said, I want to thank everybody that did come and join the stream. I appreciate all of you. I love all of you. Thank you for talking in my chat. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed talking to me and want to talk to me more, maybe subscribe, and we can do that more often. But other than that, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all next time. Take care.